Good evening. AT says bets on if we start on time. I mean, I always start on time. Sometimes a few days late, but always on time. Petros says, hello, master. Hello. It's an odd way to call me, but fair enough, fair enough. Hey, Doug, audio video good? Excellent. Thanks, Flurry. Appreciate it. What a market, huh? What a market. We've been doing nothing but going sideways, and everyone's been losing their minds. For good reason, too. Wow, it's Duck and the other guy. There's no other guy. It's just a duck. Is there someone behind me? No, I'm worried. Yo, what's up, Don? Funny title. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm pretty sure if Cred saw it, he would bully me for my lacking imagination. But yeah, I'm super tired. So I will do like a little bit of a shorter one because I'm tired. I want to get to bed. I know it's early, but it's been a long week for me already. But never mind the market. I want to know about the castle. Well, the news with the castle is that I put an offer and I was, I got the verbal okay. So if that is going to be followed through, which doesn't have to, but if it is going to be followed through, I'm going to be the owner of a castle soon. So that's going to be quite cool. Duck, Litecoin looks about to pop halving and stuff. Yeah, I had Litecoin. I bought it at 80 and sold it at 92, and I'm already regretting having sold it. So it's probably going to go to 150. But yeah, we'll talk about it. We shall talk about it. Before we start the show, big shout out to Woo. They sponsor this show. You should go check out the article Cred's written in the video description, or just in general, check their exchange out. We've been working with them hand in hand on quite a few things. It's been quite a productive partnership already, even though, we've only worked with them for 17 days now, but technically much longer because we're kind of seeing how they do things for like 6 months or so. So yeah, it's quite cool being a little bit hands-on on the exchange side of things. Some altcoins are crazy, pumping crazy. Yeah, there's a bunch of metaverse stuff going again. But yeah, just rebuy? Nah, I just want to get to bed. I don't care. At the end of the day, for me, a trade is a trade. And even if I missed out on one, there's always going to be another. Like Litecoin halving is going to be in 4 years again. It's not like I need to rush, right? Even if I missed it completely, which I don't think I would. They better than Bybit. I mean, they have their ups and downsides. I like them better, but you should check it out yourself. I mean, yeah. I kind of like the way they do the fee things, which is basically they don't charge you fees. You just pay whatever you pay, as in like you buy something, and the price that you pay for it is kind of made up out of just the price that you have to pay for it, which is quite cool. I like that. Makes it much more simple to calculate and usually cheaper too. Anyway, let's get the show started. Like I said, because I don't have that much time. Already wasted 5 minutes. I mean, I do have time, but we'll see. We'll see how long I can stay awake during the stream. Don, do you think Litecoin is bullish? I don't think it's bullish in general. I think it's going to go all the way back down to where it came from. But there is a catalyst, which is the halving. And that's why it's going up now. And that's why I've been trading it so actively. But yeah, monthly time frame, not interesting. Weekly time frame is interesting because one, we kind of shot into the indecision zone, clearly got rejected, retested resistance and dumped, right? But so far that dump hasn't had much follow through. And today we've actually had some positive price action, mostly caused honestly by the S&P just doing quite well. Like the S&P is up 1%. The Bitcoin is like barely up at all. So I still see crypto specific weakness. There's still a seller lurking, happy to kind of dump on us all. So I'm still not entirely sold, but the S&P has kind of been pulling us up today, which is interesting to see. We've been on the way up, we've been out trading the S&P, and on the way down, like this has been basically 3 weeks of downside with 1 month of a little bit of a bounce. And when you look at the S&P, that's still like that's back at the highs already, whereas Bitcoin is quite far from it, right? So Bitcoin's down from the highs right now 12%. The S&P is doing much better on that front, and that's why I'm saying like there's still someone or some people willing to sell. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I think this support is a really good one. Best support, like honestly, like this is a steal down here. Like I think this is a steal. We'll make it red. And this is a good buy. And anything in here, I think you can if you want to, but it's not like, in my view, it's not good. It's not bad. Like if you're bullish and you buy here, I get it. If you're bearish and you sell here, I get it. Down here, there's only buying. So do with that whatever you want to. That's kind of how I look at Bitcoin anyway. Like I said, I've been trading Litecoin, but that's been trading very different from Bitcoin. And Bitcoin on the daily time frame broke the range to the downside, but hasn't had any follow through, right? That's been the name of the game. That's why the title of the stream is Chopsolidation. Because what we've had basically is we've had moves to resistance that haven't done anything, break off support that doesn't do anything, and it's the same for Bitcoin and for ETH, and it's a little bit of a shit show, right? So trading this, not great. There's other things to trade, or there's I think there's better prices too. Like even if it goes higher, I think the risk is lower. As in, if we reclaim the bottom of the range, right? We reclaim this. That's good news. But as long as we don't, I'll whatever. ERR. No idea how you pronounce that. Never actually pronounced that, I think, on the side of caution. So I'll stay a little bit cautious as long as we don't get through that resistance, and then we'll see. We'll see how it goes afterwards. Because technically this is a bearish retest right now. So yeah, that's that. The daily that we have right now, like this little thing, had an attempted breakdown too, right? So we've basically broken down from the range on the daily, and we've also attempted to break down on the hourly, and that hourly didn't have any follow through. So that's, at least for the bulls, that's a good sign. But like I said, if you compare this to the S&P, right, the last 4 hours have been good. With the S&P, the last 4 hours have been fucking amazing. So yeah, I'm not entirely like super excited about this. But then again, it's at least something. And the S&P going up, which could happen, right? It's not like this is a resistance that hasn't been tested before. We've ran against this resistance on the S&P a million times, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th time. At some point, it's going to break, right? And that's, if it does break to the upside, that's going to lead to upside on Bitcoin as well. So that's quite good on the S&P. Like I said, I see relative weakness on Bitcoin. That's why I'm not too interested, and that's why I don't have too much FOMO on anything crypto related. But I think there's a few good trades to be had. Litecoin is one of them. We'll talk about it in a sec. ETH has the same setup as Bitcoin. False breakout above resistance, come back into the range, retest it bearishly, go down. But the same thing applies. It's not really following through. It's just chopping. And if I wanted to short this, I'd be uncomfortable. Like if I wasn't a short, I'd be uncomfortable. Good thing is I'm not. I'm just sitting sidelined basically. So I'm okay on that front. But I don't like when I'm shorting. I don't like when you get a short setup that doesn't just squeeze the shit out of bulls. This is just slowly walking down, and not even that. Like it's not like it's doing this, because this is clearly bearish, right? When you get this, you walk down into support and then you break it, like that's bad. This is just like a retest of resistance. It's clean. It breaks down, but then like what the fuck is this candle? It should have gone much lower. Didn't. So I don't know. The bearish argument is also shitty. So we have a shitty bullish argument and shitty bearish argument, which makes it rough. Cred said, first test, best test. Yes, it is. I agree with him. But yeah, that's ETH. ETH BTC has reclaimed support, resistance, whatever. But it depends on how you draw it, right? So if you draw it like this, we are currently at resistance, and I think that's probably more accurate now because it's more recent. And technically, ETH BTC has been in a downtrend for quite a while. Like this is a clean downtrend. This is an attempt at the bottom, but so far nothing's confirmed yet. And ETH's been struggling. Much better than other altcoins though, if you go through the list, right? Like you look at Solana, that's technically like ignoring all the bullshit that happened in between, right? Like it's an interesting one where it's just been selling off against Bitcoin quite substantially. Pretty trendy, really. Like, I mean, this is just very clean so far. It's trying to put a bottom in, but so far it's just clear downtrend. And the same is true for a lot of other things. Litecoin being one exception, because Litecoin bottomed quite a while ago and has been trading nicely. The reason why I sold Litecoin is because 1, it ran into this Bitcoin resistance. 2, because I just already had made quite a bit. And 3, because I think it'd be quite clean to retest 85. But that doesn't have to happen. And I still think like Litecoin is probably gonna go up in general. It's just me being a little bit on the more cautious side because I don't like how the market in general is trading. But sometimes in these circumstances, when the market in general is trading like shit and you have one outlier, everyone just piles into that outlier, which makes them perform even better, right? So could be that this is going to be the case here. But yeah, for the people that are interested in why I took the trade, 1, because the halving was very close, right? And 2, I have this trend line here, this kind of shitty trend line that I drew quite a while ago. Like when I bought the first time around, which was, I think, somewhere here. Yes, here. I drew this and it's been quite accurate. So I was like, yeah, it's interesting. We kind of reaching support. We're also in an area where we could make a higher low. So I bought Litecoin based on 1, the narrative halving. 2, I was like, Bitcoin's probably going to chop. So given that if Bitcoin chops, we have enough time, like I'm not going to get killed in Litecoin because I don't think the market is necessarily going to just drop 50% from today to tomorrow, right? Yeah, and having support and making a higher low. It's like I was interested and I actually bought this candle down. That's what I bought. Some of it on, I actually like did some of this on Woo, but most of all, like I bought on Woo and then I was like, okay, I need to buy some spot too. So I bought spot and this is where I've been selling. So I bought this. Sold this, but I could see this go higher. It's not like I'm bearish Litecoin. I think it goes up higher. I'm just not excited about the market is all. Where's a good place to buy Litecoin? I mean, the problem is if I tell you, you're going to front run me and I'm not going to get filled and then I'm going to cry and you're going to be happy. But I think around like mid 80s would be nice. If it dips soon, if it doesn't dip soon, probably never, because we're very close to the halving. If this is the halving pump, it's probably not coming back. And if it does come back, it's probably just bad. So if the market doesn't collapse here, like as long as Bitcoin holds up, I think Litecoin's just going to walk up. To be quite honest, like I was looking at Bitcoin when it was trading down here, and I was like, this is pretty clear that this wants to go lower. So I was like, I'm just going to sell my Litecoin because I mean, Bitcoin's clearly going lower. And I think I'm going to be able to buy from people that are going to panic off of that, that dip. But then the S&P decided to choose violence. So that idea backfired. So now, like I sold Litecoin at 92-ish. And it's now trading at 94, which is a little bit annoying. But just how it goes. Still a good trade from 80 to 92. But yeah, that's Litecoin. XRP had some news, but it's shitty chart still. And still at resistance. Look at that. So that's not one that I'm currently looking to buy unless it reclaims this resistance. And then all the other altcoins, honestly, besides a few outliers that just dumped so much that they can pump now 10%, everything looks like shit to me. And I've not been, like, I'm not really into the metaverse coins, so there's just, I leave this to other people. Like you see Osaka trading some of them, you see a bunch of people trading them. I don't really care. I'm just not going to. I like my comfort, and I like Bitcoin, and I like my old coins that aren't gonna get randomly fucked by the US government. It's kind of my vibe. Pepe has been struggling. Like that's a chart and a half. I don't necessarily, like I would be surprised if the top wasn't in. And yeah, I think this is just gonna bleed. But with these kind of charts, they're gonna look like this. And I don't think we've had the complacency shoulder yet. I think we've had this. If we had the nuke, maybe we go lower, but I think we're gonna get a complacency shoulder eventually. Might be from here, might be from lower, I don't know. So that's why it's not a free short. I think the complacency shoulder is gonna be more interesting, but there's also a chance it just straight up goes to zero. Do you have any favorite altcoins for the next bull? No. The thing is, the altcoins that exist now are probably not gonna do too well in the next bull. So if I wanted to have like fundamental favorites, I would pick the next bull market, because it's not how, like, people will tell you on Twitter and elsewhere that, oh, you just need to accumulate this and that during the bear market. 99% of the time that's bullshit, and you're just going to buy something that will go straight to zero. 1% of the time, maybe you actually hit something, but most of the time it just goes down, 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 down. And then the moment the bull market comes, the people that have been holding it are very happy to sell it, because they've just been waiting to get out. And if something pumps by 4x, they're going to be like, dear God, I can sell this with like a 50% haircut now instead of being down quite a bit more. So I don't necessarily think the best coin for next cycle exists yet, which is just to say that altcoins will always be replaced. Like that's the one rule in crypto that you have to follow. Don't ever get married to any altcoin. Every single altcoin in this market will be replaced eventually by something else. And every single cycle that I've been in this market, and I've been I've been in it quite a few cycles now, people tell me I'm stupid, and it's not true. And every single cycle, their bags go to zero. And every single time, they're like, oh yeah, you were right, but what do I do now? And stuff is just fucked. So yeah, There's a few outliers, but they're so far, like they're so rare that it doesn't really make sense to hunt for them, unless you're like a genius in predicting hype cycles and that kind of thing. Like you can kind of see where the mind share is gonna go, like where people will be interested in. But yeah. What do you think about the dead chain rune? I don't think anything about rune. I don't even know what it does. But when I see this kind of chart, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like the thing is, this can pump quite easily, right? Like, but I mean, Bitcoin is up 2x from the bottom, and this thing is up 16%. You're taking much more risk, and it's only up 16%, right? When that is the case, does this really inspire confidence in you? Like, is there like a buyer that's actually interested in this, or did it just bounce a little because Bitcoin bounced, and then bag holders sold into the bounce because they were desperate to get out, right? Like, it's not me. And the thing is, like, these kind of things can pump for sure, like always, but it's not how I'm ever gonna trade. Like just praying for like a random pump and dump or something, that is not how I'm gonna trade. I don't like it, and these kind of charts I will never buy. Don, would you rebuy again if Litecoin breaks through 100, and don't you regret selling it? So with Litecoin, right? So what I've done with Litecoin is I've traded it around so much. So originally I bought it at 60. Oh, Jesus Christ. But I'm a little bit annoyed. But originally I bought it at 60. I traded it around like from 60, sold it up here, bought it back down here, like a bunch. Sold it up here again. And actually, no, I held through this, but I sold it up here again. And then I bought back 80, right? So my average on this is quite low, just from trading it successfully. So at the end of the day, even if I bought it at 120, I would still, like with the initial money that I traded Litecoin with, I would still get more Litecoin for than what I had when I first bought it. So like that, I'm not too worried about. But yeah, could see it go. But no, I will not have FOMO. Like that's the thing. Like I'm annoyed because, yeah, could have seen this coming, but not really too sad or too FOMO-y. Like literally, Litecoin could go to 500, and I'd be like, well, just how it goes. Seen it multiple times before. Like I had quite a bit of Dogecoin at the Pico Schmiko bottom. Wanted to buy much more. I got front ran on a shitload of it, and Dogecoin went up 1000x, and it's just how it goes. But yeah, I don't understand. I've seen people short Litecoin, and that I think is completely retarded. I just don't get it. I heard Doge was free to farm back then. I mean, there was faucets to like back in the day. You could just go on websites and basically get free Doge and free Bitcoin too. Like back in the day, you could even get free Bitcoin. I tried that a little bit, but I was too lazy. I wasn't that much. Like, if you held it all the way, that could have turned into quite a bit, but yeah. Don is still salty about being front run on Doge. Yeah, the front running was more annoying than the actual price increase, because like the TA was perfect, the plan was perfect, and then I just like an idiot, I shared it on Twitter and I shared it on stream, and people just bought a shitload, and my order was the top order in the order book, and basically started getting filled, and then I only got a fraction of what I wanted, and that tilted me back then. But no, it's just how trading goes, right? Like especially crypto, you're gonna have like a million of these kind of stories the longer you are around. It's not a big deal. So like, I mean, the first time I wanted to buy Bitcoin was like when it was trading around $1 to $2, like somewhere in between $1 and $10, and then I couldn't because my mom back at the time wouldn't want to, like, she was like, I'm not gonna give you my credit card to buy like some magic internet money. And I was like, okay, well, if I cannot buy it with credit card, this is way too complicated to buy with anything else, so I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, no. And then Bitcoin went to 1,000, like pretty straight after, like in almost a straight line. So like I could have had Bitcoin for $1. It's now trading at 27,000. So if I was thinking like that, and I don't like, I just guess with time you just stop thinking like that. It's just, I mean, the longer you have been around, the less it phases you, because there's going to be opportunities like a million times over. You look at Litecoin, right? Like, look, this went from $4 to almost 400 here. Then it went all the way down to 22. Then it went all the way up back to 400. Then it went all the way back down to 40. Like, this happens a million times over. It's the same with Bitcoin, right? Like, if you look at this, there's been a million opportunities to buy this stuff. So rushing is not really the play, unless you're like an investor, which I think fair enough. But as a trader, you can just take 1, 2, 3 good opportunities a year and be good. What now, mom? Yeah. One day I told her like how much, because I wanted to buy I think I wanted to buy 50 Bitcoin back then, and my brother wanted to buy 50 Bitcoin too. So that would have been a 100 Bitcoin. And when we were trading at 20,000 in 2017, I showed my mom, and she still remembered that we were asking to like use her credit card for $100, and she said no, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, how much would that have been worth?" And I was like, "Well, that would have been 100 Bitcoin times 20,000 back then." And she was like, "What the fuck?" As in, like the multiplier kind of shocked her badly, but she got over it. Good old days. And at the end of the day, like I made my trades, and I'm more than happy with how it all went. And if I was still salty about all of this, and I mean there a few people are like, they're just salty and then they just like go on Reddit or whatever and complain all day. I don't get that kind of stuff. Like, that's just a fucking waste of your time. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, with Bitcoin, I mean, it's an interesting, nice little squeeze going on right now. I want to see how that goes. I want to see it close above the daily resistance. That would be the good first step. Then I think we can get back into the business of longing this shit, right? Which would be quite nice. I would actually like to see Bitcoin go up and suck even more air out of the altcoins before the altcoins go off. Right now it's at resistance, so I think it's a little bit too early to tell. And then with the altcoins, I think the only ones that you really want to touch ever are the ones with narrative. When you do trade most frequently, and how long were the trades? Most frequent trading for me was 2017. Like I have a million pages of trades from like, wrong bubble, looks the same. I have a million trades from 1,200 all the way up to 20,000, and I entered trades like 100 times a day. Like it was all over the place, because I was like, because I started with quite little. Like, I mean, my mom didn't let me buy back when it was super cheap. And then like I grew up in rural Germany, as poor as you can, basically single mom, raising a couple of kids. So we didn't really have money in the first place. And so I put like as much as I could, which was basically just me going all in. And then like I had saved up for like a couple of years, but that amounted to like, I think it was like I started with 15 Doge, made a bunch with it, and then I put all my savings into it, which was like 500 or something in total. So I think my in general, my crypto investment, as in the money that I put in, was 550 in total. Everything else I've made out of these 550, like roughly that. So I traded that, made a bunch of money with Doge. Took a couple Doge cycles actually, because it's not like Doge didn't do this before, by the way. For the people that don't know, like Doge had quite a few cycles throughout its time, and I almost got all of them. So that's been good trading. But yeah, that was basically it. Like I started with very little, and then I was like, I need to make it because I don't wanna do like a normal job. I don't want to go back to university and do like the normal stuff. I want to see if I can push this. And so basically from 2016, 2017, I was like, okay, I need to push it as hard as I can. And 2017 allowed me to do it. Were you already familiar with charts when you first bought Bitcoin, or are you a genius? I mean, I knew a few charts. The first time I wanted to buy Bitcoin when it was trading at 1, I didn't even know what a chart was. I was just like, this is just a good idea. It seemed like a good idea to me. So I wanted to buy it. And then I saw the prices go up and I was like, fuck this, because I didn't have any. So I watched the charts and then I went from there. So I was sitting on the sidelines scoping from $1 to 1,000. And then when it crashed, I was like, okay, now I have to get in because I don't think I'm going to get this opportunity again. And at the end of the day, that was right. There was a lot of other opportunities, but given my starting capital, would have been pretty hard to make it otherwise. Even ETH, I don't know what your question is about, but I didn't actually do much with ETH. ETH, the first time I really traded it was actually during this good times, actually. I don't know if anyone cares about history, but yeah, that was fun. So like I saw all of this happen. I was like, well, could have made so much money with this, but is what it is. And then basically here when we bounced, I was like, okay, I need to get in. So I bought like at around 300 and then it went all the way up. But ETH wasn't nearly my best performer back in the day. Like not even close. But yeah, good times. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Like I said, watch the daily resistance. Interesting price action right now. If we can break that daily resistance, maybe we can turn this trend around, this bearish trend, because technically that's a bad trend, right? If we can make a base here, that'd be good. Otherwise, quite shit. And then yeah, we'll see how this pans out. I wouldn't want to be shorting, but for me, there's no trade on the long side either, just yet. Maybe there will be. I'd be more than happy actually if my bearishness got invalidated, because I sold above 30K. If I get to buy back 27 or even 28, that'd be quite lit. And then we ride it to 35, where we would sell again. But yeah, thanks for coming by. Really appreciate you guys hanging out, even when I'm tired. Hope you liked the history lesson. I don't know if it's a lesson, but the history, the storytelling, whatever. A little bit of my history. I've told it before, but yeah, a bunch of new people on the channel anyway. And yeah, big shout out to Woo for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it. They're quite cool. Go into the description if you want to check them out. All the info that you would need is there. Courtesy of Cred. I'm useless in that regard, but yeah, appreciate you coming by, hanging out, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye.